is there any public comment? Do we have anybody signed up out there? Alrighty. So, being there's no public comment, I'm going to announce that the board will now go into executive session and will return to public session at approximately 6. Under Section 305B of the General Provision Article of the Maryland Annotated Code, there's one reason the board will go into closed session this evening: to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction. Any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Specifically, the topic for tonight will be Section 305B1, professional leave request and finance director position. The reason this topic will be discussed in closed session instead of open session is as follows. The personnel topic pursuant to 305B1 disclosed above will be considered in closed session rather than open session because it includes a discussion of specific employees, which is a confidential employment matter. So, is there any objection to going into executive session? Okay. I need a motion to do that.
So moved.
Jason. Josh, seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're in executive session. We'll be back at 6 o'clock. It's a little bit after 6. We're about 5 minutes late getting started, but we'll reopen the meeting. As I said at the beginning, at 4 o'clock, I'm Ronnie Glodfeldy. I'm the vice chair of the board. The person you usually see in this seat, Tom Woods, has had a unavoidable family situation that he had to deal with today, so he couldn't be here. So you'll have to let me bear with me as I try to facilitate this meeting. I think we're going to start with a moment of silence, and then Haley Wilderson will lead us in the pledge. She's our student board member. Haley. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Haley. Okay. First order of business is to approve the agenda for this meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Josh, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next, we'll approve the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to take off the consent agenda? Okay. If not, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Josh, Jason, and Josh. And we're going to do the closed session summary right now. Dr. McCartney, you want to do that?
We just tell them that it's available.
Oh, it's available. I'm sorry. Yeah, we changed our rules on that. It is available online. If anybody wants to look at the closed session summary, feel free to go to the public school system's website. It'll be posted there. Announcements.
Announcements are posted on our website, and I would urge all of you to, number one, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm going to Southern High for lunch on Friday for Thanksgiving. Thank you.
We got turkey.
That's the most important announcement for me. All the other announcements really are on our website, and I would urge you to go there.
All right. Now we're going to do some recognitions, and important recognitions. The first is the Special Olympics Unified Champion Schools, Northern Middle, Northern Garrett High School, Southern Middle, and Southern Garrett High School all had this award.
Okay, the Garrett County Board of Education is proud to announce that all of its secondary schools have received banner recognition as a unified champion school through Special Olympics Maryland. The Maryland Recognition Program is an accolade designed to highlight and distinguish unified schools that go above and beyond the standard of each school year. Northern Middle School, Northern Garrett High School, Southern Middle School, and Southern Garrett High School were evaluated on 3 components: unified sports and activities, inclusion for youth leadership, and a whole school engagement. All schools met these high standards of creating an inclusive environment for students. So, tonight we have a couple individuals from each of our schools. We're going to do these one at a time. So if you're from the school, if you'll come up and join Dr. McCartney and I, we'll do a picture, but we want to make sure that we get everybody in the picture. So first we're going to start with Northern Middle School. I have Mrs. Ashby, Mrs. Beeman, and is Devin here tonight as well? All right. Come on over back.
Scramble. Scramble. Get out of the back. Get out of the back of the picture.
It still said Northern, so I was close. All right, so next we're going to do Northern High School, looking for Mr. Beachy and Miss Schaefer and Mrs. Marianne Humble, please. And then is Lincoln Durst with you tonight as well? Come on up, guys.
Back there in the corner. Dr. Mangus, you need to, this is Mrs. Sanderson, who we honored these. Yeah.
Oh, you're fine.
Don't forget your coat.
Okay, next we're going to do. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so next we have Southern Middle School. We have Miss Lipscomb, Miss Story, and is Jonathan Paul student here with us tonight? Come on up. Okay, next we have Southern High School. We have Mrs. Reams, Isaac Stemple, Terry Lewis, Connor Lewis, Haley Sisler, and Zoe Schweck. All here.
But you and I are now good friends. You invited me for a free meal. I love this. Perfect.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Mr. Van Sickle. We're just going to have to... Yeah. Thanks for coming, everyone. We got a couple more recognitions. Thank you, Mr. Van Sickle. Wait till it quiets down a little bit.
I think I'm the next for Education Support Professionals Day.
Our next recognition will be for American Education Week, November 13th through 17th, 2023. Whereas public education is the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, equality, and whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas education employees, be they custodians, maintenance staff, teachers, assistants, school nurses, bus drivers, food service staff, secretaries, and administrators, demonstrate passion, perseverance, and excellence on behalf of all students. And whereas schools are community linchpins, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders, and elected officials in a common enterprise. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Education of Garrett County, do hereby salute our dedicated education employees and proclaim November 13th through 17th, 2023 as the 102nd annual observance of American Education Week.
So we have some guests with us to honor as representatives for American Education Week. We have Heather Gosnell, Greg Weinberger, right? Okay. And we thank you. And is Lois here too? Or Lois? Yeah, yeah. And Angel? Yes, absolutely.
You got more? Hold on. Jimmy, hold that stuff. Here.
The next recognition is for National Education Support Professionals Day, November 15th, and Mr. Cody Brill is going to do this one.
Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equity, and whereas education support professionals are an integral part of the education process, and whereas education support professionals provide a safe and healthy learning environment for students, and whereas education support professionals work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. Now, therefore, we, the Garrett County Board of Education, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, November 15th, 2023, as the National Education Support Professionals Day. We urge that all observe this day by taking time to recognize and acknowledge the importance of education support professionals in our public schools.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have some action items, some bid uh, submittals that we need to approve, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Wozlowski.
All right, good evening. I'm here this evening for the first one to request approval for our solid waste collection and disposal service award. This was done through an RFP process for a project scheduled to begin January 1st, 2024 and complete through June 30th of 2026. I provided a board a schedule of our pickup service. We did receive 2 bids. I provided the bid tab to the board. We funded through the Garrett County Public Schools operating budget. So I'm here tonight to request a recommendation to award the bid to Perry's Solid Waste Disposal of Oakland, Maryland for $57,600.
Do I hear a motion to, oh, I need a recommendation from the superintendent, sorry.
Need to make a recommendation, and my recommendation is to approve Perry's Solid Waste Disposal to provide the solid waste collection disposal services for the Garrett County Public Schools.
Now I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Jason?
Second.
Josh? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. The next one is the limited renovation of HVAC installation at Southern Garrett High School.
Yes. These 2 projects are in support of the grade band alignment in the southern part of the county. As you can recall, we went through a process developing an ed spec and design teams this past year. So now we're to the point where we want to go ahead and award the project to get started. The board, back I believe March, we did sign a limited notice to proceed with the Daikin Corporation to design the project and bring it in at budget, and which is what they have done. So I provided documentation tonight to do that. Now, I totaled these together, but they are 2 different contracts. Dr. McCartney indicated she wants to do one as opposed to together. So again, for the funding source, and I'll do the limited renovation, which is going to be funded through the state CIP program. So we'll do that first. The amount of that contract, which I provided, is $4,457,000 based on the items that's in the scope that's provided tonight. So I'm here tonight to ask that Daikin Applied be awarded that contract as provided.
is to approve the Dakin Applied Americas contract to complete the Southern Garrett High School Limited renovation.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Josh?
Second.
Cody? Okay. Does anyone have any discussion on this?
Yeah, just one quick question. So looking at these renovations, do you think this will cover everything we need for the grade band realignment to take place? It's already been passed for the Southern High School area?
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this contract. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, go ahead, Rich.
Okay, then we have the second one. This is through the Healthy Schools Facility Fund, also sponsored by the IAC. This is to completely add HVAC or air conditioning to every space within Southern High School. So I'm here tonight to ask for a bid recommendation award for Daikin Applied also in the amount of $8,999,137.
So, sorry, my recommendation is to approve the bid from Daikin for Southern Garrett High School HVAC modifications.
Okay. All right. Do I hear a motion? We have a recommendation. And now I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Josh, second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Brill. All right, any discussion on this? I would just say that this has been a long time coming,
Yeah.
and I'm sure everybody at Southern's going to appreciate having this done.
Yes, I hope so.
So,
Anybody else?
sorry, Rich, just a quick question. So Healthy Schools grant is paying for the majority of this project, correct?
Yes. Yes. There'll be some crossover with funding, which is natural when you do, because it's still one project. So we have to do some work in terms of when we do pay apps, just to make sure some things are separate, but we'll get through all that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Let's go to the next one.
All right, this is to install 4 portable classrooms at Broadford. This is in the first step in terms of where we are for our Southern Elementary project. We are going to use a Baltimore County Public Schools contract, which we received permission to use to award Modular Genius from Joppatown, Maryland. The installation of 4 portables. I provided a map also to the board where they'll be located outside of Broadford in the amount of $257,139. And this is a lease for the duration of the project, not a purchase. Okay.
Recommendation, the superintendent.
My recommendation is to approve the bid from Modular Genius to install the 4 portable classrooms at Broadford during the renovation.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion to
Make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation.
second?
Second.
Josh, any discussion on this?
Rich, I see alternate one price for one concrete foundation. Does that include that, or
Yes.
so is that something we have to have, or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that this came in a lot lower than what we were expecting.
Yeah.
And
So
so that's great.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and I will remind the board that part of the reason it is lower than expected is we're renting fewer trailers than we thought we might
Yeah.
need, because we're trying to identify space within the building to,
Okay.
not trying to, we have identified space within the building to house some of the students.
Yes.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thanks, Rich. Appreciate it. Next, we have a budget amendment request, and I think Dr. McCartney's going to do this one.
I am going to do this since we are still looking for a permanent chief financial officer or director of finances for the board. So in order to allow the portable classrooms to happen and to continue our work at Dennett Road primarily to do some minor renovations, as we're leaving this building, this will be our last board meeting in this building. We need to have the budget amendment approved that is before you, and what we would do would be using our fund balance to pay for the portable classrooms, which is $257,000 and $139. And the renovation, we're thinking at this point will come in at about $75,000 till we do carpeting and some other retooling of the building at Dennett Road for us to occupy. So I am, of course, recommending that you approve this budget amendment, which then will go to the commissioners.
Do I hear a motion to approve this budget amendment?
So moved.
Josh, second.
Second.
Thanks. Cody. Okay, discussion. No discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, next. I think we. It is, yeah, I was going to say, now we're going to do some,
Rich, because I have my papers out of order.
now we're going
I'm
to
not rich.
we're going to do some presentations. And pillar number one.
Right. So I'm very proud to update everyone on Pillar 1. Our
Donna
committee,
Ashby, everyone.
what is it?
I was just telling
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Donna Ashby, Director of Early Childhood and Elementary Ed and Fine Arts. So I'm excited to be here because this is really a good thing. So Pillar 1 is up and running very well. And we at Garrett County Schools are much further ahead than most of the state with this. So when I show some slides here, you will see some of it in action, which is really, really exciting. Our 3-year-old classrooms, we are up to 3 this year. So you will see some pictures from the 3-year-old classrooms, and they are so cute. You will see why. Okay, so look there. Oh, let me go back. You have to see them all. Okay, so this is one at Accident, and you will see some at Accident as well as Broadford. Like I said, we're up to 3. And our team with the Pillar 1 committee started, and we had so many different people on our committee. We had Head Start and Judy Center, the health department, DSS, teachers, principals, local providers, and parents. So it was really a strong committee who helped come up with ideas about moving forward. And so we are in a very, very good place. We actually, a week ago, had some other districts come just to view what it looked like. And they were so impressed because they're just starting, most of them, a full 4-year-old, and we have universal for our 4-year-olds. So that was exciting. But when they saw the 3-year-olds in action, it just does your heart good. So here, as you can see, this is one of the ones at Broadford. And then you'll see a mixture between all the 3-year-old classrooms. And they are full day, and they're running very, very well. I could not leave some of these pictures out, and you can see why. So our 3-year-old classrooms they're called collaborative classrooms. So I want to share a little bit about that. So when we formed in these committees, we decided with our Head Start, we have such a strong partnership with them, that we have a Head Start teacher in every one of these 3-year-old classrooms and a GCPS teacher as well as an instructional assistant. And something else with our instructional assistants in all pre-K classrooms, because of the blueprint, they have to have their CDA certification or their AA or an AA degree. So we are ahead of that as well. So Dr. Miller and Dr. Willison and I met with Garrett College maybe 2 years ago and started that process. So they partnered with us and just ran off with it. So our IAs will be finishing up early, like they will be done this year. They're taking their last class now through Howard University, which is through Garrett College. And they will do their capstone test, which is a big test at the end. The ones who, and I think we had 5 that had to do that, and they will be completing it before the end of the school year. And it did not have to be done until 2026. So we are ahead of the game on that as well. So kudos to the IAs who have really jumped in, and they are doing very well with it. And we partner with our Head Start as well with that, because they oversee with a portfolio part as well as the capstone, helping them through with that. So the partnerships that we've created through Pillar 1 is really an advantage to our system. The PD opportunities with Pillar 1 have increased greatly as well. So with our Judy Center staff, the Pillar 1 is actually from birth up. So we are starting to hit those kids very early. So many of you have heard about our community baby shower. That's part of this, as well as Carrie with her Judy Center staff go into the local providers, and they do some actual lessons in their homes. And now our local providers, it was about a week and a half ago, we had a PD that we had for attendant night with some of our teachers called Our Power. So they're receiving professional development that will carry over so that our kids, even though they're in the local providers, that will carry over as well. Another great thing that the Pillar 1 has offered is some of our local providers who partner with our Judy Center, they have curriculum now that helps prepare them to be ready for kindergarten. And at the end of Pillar 1, the whole thing is to have them KRA ready, so kindergarten ready assessment. So one thing I want to highlight is last year it was presented that we increased 9 points with our KRA, which for a few years we were dropping. So that was the focus we had. So not only did we increase 9 points, but that was such a jump. The state said we should probably only plan to do 2 at the most because of COVID. Well, this year the official scores are not out, but it looks like another increase. So what we are doing is really helping these kids as they are coming into school ready. And we are excited because our pre-K 3 classrooms next year, they will test, and I think we're going to see another jump. I'm excited about that. The universal enrollment is something as part of the blueprint as well. Last year, we added the Spanish piece to that. And we have 2 local providers who will become what we call a partner as far as they have their teaching certificate. So they will be able to apply for the expansion grant and partner with us, and that will also, it kind of serves as a dual enrollment, and we're very, very excited about that piece as well. So Pillar 1 is off to, like I said, a great start for Garrett County, and Dr. Miller has received calls, and I have as well, where they just say, how do you do it? How do you make it work? One of the number one things, and Rich is out there, but a kudos to him too, because transportation is becoming a problem throughout the rest of the state. And he's like, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. And, you know, I'm not saying there's not bumps in the road with different things as we have worked on this, but the other counties are saying, how do you do it? Well, one of the things that Rich has allowed is, for example, the parents feel more comfort as they put the kids in and they put them in the harness. So he allows the parents even to step up on the bus and do that in the mornings. And the parents seem very grateful to have that connection. So again, just a lot of great things taking place with Pillar 1, and we look forward to continue to let it grow. So now, let me move on. Any questions with that one before we move on?
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a team.
Garrett County is very innovative on this.
Oh, yes. And it's a
And a leader
team.
in the state, so
Yes.
congratulations.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll just add, thank you very much for the presentation.
Oh, you're welcome.
Very well done. And coming back to the system after being gone for a while, the idea of having 3-year-olds in school, 20 in one room, seemed a little scary to me. But I've been to those rooms now, and because of the collaborative work, they are working very well. So thank you.
And I am very grateful for our Head Start partnership that makes them so successful. Any other questions, comments?
So,
You're welcome. That was a fun one.
uh,
All right, I'm
on
next
to the
again.
next one, to really chip it up.
All right, dance. Yes, hold on one second. Yes, it is. Oh, sorry. Ready. I was so ready.
Kind of get up and demonstrate.
So, Dance One. This will be a course that we're planning to offer at both high schools next year. And it has been a process, and we have had several staff members who've been part of a committee, and they work very hard to get this in place. And this is with planning with Mr. Edwards, of course, as well. So when we talk about COMAR requirements, this is something that is part of COMAR. School systems must provide instructional programs that enable students in grades 9 through 12 to meet graduation requirements and select from various fine arts electives, including dance. So we have been, like I said, doing little steps along the way. And if some of you are not aware, we had SEL dance at the PAC over the summer, and it was such a wonderful experience with those kids. And so we are happy to have Dance One as offered, and it will start in the 2024-25 school year on both ends. The committee created a dance map of the curriculum covering the MSDE dance standards. The course description of dance is completed in a course guide. It will be in there as well that Mr. Edwards is having prepared. The students in Dance One will gain an introduction to dance through historical lectures, essential vocabulary, exercises in dance movement and technique and choreography. And the ladies, and we even now have a gentleman that has been meeting with us on the dance committee, have really put a lot of time in to make sure that they're hitting all the key areas to impact the students. Any questions on that one?
It's going to be exciting.
It is exciting, and we have locations that they're working out and the staffing they're working out, and I think it's going to be a great course offer for the students. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Addition to our program.
Okay. So we're going to do common lit. Come on in, Candy. Candy Moss.
Absolutely.
Yes, Candy Moss, supervisor of ELA, among other things, and that's why I'm sitting in front of you tonight. Bringing for you, for review at this point, Common Lit 360. Anyone who would access this website, including all of you, will see anything that is underlined is a direct link. So when you see the word website up there, one way to check out the materials that are available is to click on that link. This is for our high school programs and ELA. It is requested by the teachers, but it's also to help us meet a requirement of the blueprint with the remedial course that we will be teaching after 10th grade for those who are not, CCR ready. So, with that, okay. In Common Lit, there is a program guide that anyone can also access. It really looks at critical thinking, real-world connections, allows for differentiation, flexible implementation, and by that, this is generally what we would call an open resource. With an open resource, it means it's free to us, but the portion we're bringing to you is the 360, which allows us to access a dashboard. The flexible part is that there are so many different texts in here that our teachers can use, and they can be customized for the level of the students and content that is relevant to them. It is an evidence-based product, which is why you see that link at the bottom. That will take you to the report that shows that it contains practices that are proven to work. The next page is not supposed to be there. This is the wrong slideshow.
No, this is the, must be the old one.
Okay, Okay, well, it's thematic. It uses novels. It has research and argument.
You can use.
In the 9th and 10th grade content.
You want to use, we got another, we got it on our.
Yeah. How about we just use?
Yeah, we're going to use the one that is online. This is not. So when you go into the portion, because that's what I have printed is what I submitted to all of you, but that's okay. There are links directly to different resources within the program. There's an introductory slide. There's vocabulary activities to help enhance the student vocabulary. Student and teacher resources. I link the student. The teacher resources carry the answers. I didn't think that was all that wise. And then the key level skills and writing tasks that are incorporated. We have grammar, which is a key component that we know right now at the sentence level students are struggling with. They not only need to know the part of speech, but the function of the word and how to make it work within the flow of a sentence. And then assessments and rubrics.
You're doing fine.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'll just go to the next portion when we find it. There is a component for assessment. And within the assessment, which is why we're actually asking for permission to purchase this, is what will be a dashboard allowing the schools to monitor student progress through a differentiated approach. They'll be able to see the subgroups. They'll be able to monitor with the assessments in the culminating piece, which is a requirement of the remedial course. That grammar component and that assessment component is what the college, who we collaborate with to create the remedial course, is asking for. And you can see on the slide, there is a direct link to the assessment samples that anyone can view. And real quick is an administrator dashboard that is up there that you can see the different tracking that can occur within the program. Next slide. Okay, good. So this is teacher requested and approved. This is an open resource that we use through other means within the classroom. It is evidence-based. It aligns to the Maryland standards. It aligns to the CCR component of the blueprint that I talked about for that remedial course. It is requested by the college that we have all of those components in order for them to put their stamp of approval on it. It is really easy to use, and it has this flexible implementation which allows us to, if we wanted to, pick units that align to the other content areas if they wanted to. And the best thing about this is it works with Schoology and Clever, which means we have a pass-through. They can literally connect it to the students' Schoology courses. And if we would ever have any of those virtual days, all of you parents will be happy to know it's an easy click, and in we go, and they can work on it. So, this product will be on display not only through the slides here, but on our website. You can go in, you can click the link, you can give feedback directly on that survey. But for anyone who does not have direct access at home, we will have 2 devices set up, one at each high school, that parents can come in or community members and view it and then give feedback on the product. Any questions?
Questions?
So
Great.
our plan is, just so the board members understand, since we would be using this as a supplemental resource at both of the high schools, we looked at our policy on this and felt that we needed your approval to do that. So we are bringing this to you this month for information. The public will be able to view what is online with this program, and we will come back next month then with the final recommendation.
Excellent.
Thank you, Ms. Moss.
Sorry, a couple questions before we finish up. So I saw that the resource was available through actually 6th, 7th, and 8th grade as well. So for what we're paying, can we use it for 6th, 7th, and 8th if we could find a need for it also, or is that an additional charge?
So it is site-based, and the first implementation, if the board would approve it, would be through Maryland Leads funds, so that teachers are able to use it for the remedial course. And then we will be looking at alternative uses as well, but in order to include Northern Middle School next year, it would be a third site license.
But our contract negotiated is now, even if we're going to add the third rather than trying to add a third later, right?
If the board would prefer, I can tell you the middle schools like the product as well.
I'm just thinking if, in my opinion, I mean, if we're pricing it, our negotiating power is now, regardless of number of sites, rather than trying to add one a year from now.
One would think we would have negotiating power, but with two schools, we really don't.
We really don't.
What would be the cost increase to add a third site?
5,500.
Yeah, I would prefer a proposal that included all three sites.
I agree.
Okay. Interesting. And we will certainly look at that as a possibility. If the teachers are interested, and we're talking 7 through 12. What we're really looking at for the rest of this year is a sort of short-term usage of the product as we're trying to figure out. It's almost a pilot. Until the teachers use it for a while, we won't know. It looks good, but until they use it for a while, we won't know that.
But we pay the same whether it's a pilot or whether it's institute, correct?
I
For
would
the
have to yield to
short-term,
Candy
yes.
on that.
For this short-term license, what it would do is it would be for half a year, and we would just create that as part of the amendment for Maryland Leads to let, if that's the proposal and that's the direction that I am told to go, we will look at a 7 to 12 with the incorporation of, well, it would be a 4-site license for this year with Southern Middle.
For this year, it would be a 4th site
Yeah,
license.
I would just add that our priority, I believe, based on our conversations, is really high school first, because we do not have many supplemental resources to support the intervention model, and that is something with the blueprint that we are going to have to build out with Pillar 3. So it may expand to the point of going down, there's content for those grades, but remember, some of these students are below grade level, and so they're going to be accessing that below grade level content, even though they might be in 9th and 10th grade. So I think there's going to be some curriculum work that we're going to have to map out to make sure that we're not duplicating content. So it might be a little bit, not impossible, but there's going to have to be some work associated with that. But I do want to make sure that people understand that our priority first is the students that are non-CCR, that we have a remedial individualized support path for them. Then our next priority is our 9th and 10th graders, because we need a more robust intervention program for, and resources to go along with it, a structure and resource to go along with it.
Have we talked to other schools that have used this resource?
Actually, our current schools use Common Lit as the free resource. The component that we are actually purchasing is the data dashboard and then the assessments that are not included with the free resource that align to that CCR remediation. And the difference would be K through 8 have iReady. The high school has iLit, but it has very limited resources, and it has been a challenge at times to implement and use well. The teachers are very familiar with this product. They were the ones that approached us, which is why we thought it might be in their best interest to actually try something out before we invest too many funds, which is sort of the purpose of Maryland Leads, is to give them some trial things to make sure that it is what the company promises.
So I guess my only question is, as we work with vendors, right? It's a product we're familiar with. It's a product teachers like. Do we get better pricing if we look at a 2-year contract rather than a short-term contract?
Well, the problem would be right now, Maryland Leads would be the tool that we're using to implement it, and those funds expire September 2024. And by federal regulations, we're not allowed to buy a license beyond the contract of the grant.
Okay.
So the way we are approaching it is, if these high schools get in, find that it's a very successful product with the assessment component, the teachers can still use all of the open resources. Those are readily available to any one of us going clear down to second grade sometimes, because I've used it at that level. But it is this assessment component that we're really trying out to give us the feedback for the CCR remedial course, and then look at whether or not it's gonna do the job that we need, that we could consider it. In April, I'm going to do a review with the teachers. At that time, as we're going through all of the budget pieces that we need to go through, we're gonna have it in there for consideration. And if they approve, then we can share with the middle schools as well, and certainly take into account what your request is.
All right, so last question, I promise. So the board's been asking for dashboard data for a long time on all subjects and all grades, multiple years now at this point. And what we've always lacked is something that can provide that. So what I see in this resource is something that may be able to provide that data that we've been requesting for the last 3 years that I've been on the board. So that's why I think whenever we look at this, we need to look at, can it benefit multiple groups? You know, we are getting test scores from the state, right? But we've asked for dashboard data that lead up to that so we can kind of track, are we progressing? Are we getting better as we move to that state test? So to me, the only thing I would ask the superintendent and staff is to look at is this an option that can fit multiple needs? And if that's the case, maybe it's not as short term as what we think.
Jason, it looks like the pricing for multiple years is about a $750 difference. Depending on what package we're going with, I'm assuming the
looking at
Pro
the-
Plus.
Yes.
So
So 5 years is, you're saving $700.
and if we're going to use it as a dashboard, it doesn't do us any good to have it short term because then we can't use anything to follow up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Austin. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Candy.
We're getting close to 7 o'clock, so what's that? Oh.
If we could do, Mr. Gladfeldy, if we could do very quickly the comprehensive maintenance plan before a public comment, I'd appreciate it.
That okay with everybody?
Since it's just a couple minutes.
Sure.
My
Well, we
phone.
have
Yeah,
few minutes
we
till
have
7.
3 minutes,
Okay.
and my phone went off at 5 o'clock this morning, so I know Rich has been at it for a long time.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here tonight. We did a first read last month. This is the annual comprehensive maintenance plan that's required by the IAC. So I'm here tonight just to ask approval at the meeting tonight. Thank you.
Any questions?
So, you had this last month,
Okay.
and, first of all, thank you for putting the comprehensive maintenance plan together, and my recommendation to the board is to approve the comprehensive maintenance plan, which has been developed, established to develop, maintain, and improve the maintenance program here in the Garrett County Public School System. Thank you.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Josh? I need a second.
Second.
Second, Cody. Thank you. Any comment? Other than it was a great job putting this together, I think.
Yep.
Very,
Tom.
very comprehensive.
Okay.
Well prepared.
Okay, if no other comments, so let's vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Aye. Okay, any opposed?
Aye.
So 2-1.
All right.
It's approved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure, no problem. Okay, it's about 7 o'clock, so it's time to do public comment. The Board of Garrett County Education is pleased to receive comments and ideas from our public pertaining to the policies, procedures, and/or practices of the school system. We ask that the comments be limited to a maximum time of 3 minutes per individual unless otherwise considered by the board president. There will be no discussion or action taken at this meeting, but may be considered at a future meeting. Issues that are specific to individual employees should be referred to the immediate supervisor for appropriate consideration and review. Rude, slanderous, or threatening remarks or other behavior that is disruptive or interferes with the order of the meeting is not permitted. So, does anybody else want to speak? Because we can add on to the, if you haven't signed the list. And you'll have a while to think about it. But first we're going to have Kathy Schaefer, Bradford. Parent.
I will send this to you all in an email as well.
Thank you.
4 months ago, on my Mayor Schaefer Facebook page, I encouraged parents to return their children to Garrett County schools, whether they were homeschooled or going to non-public schools. I am now considering changing that suggestion and ask parents of Garrett County children to homeschool, or perhaps go to a private school, or maybe move out of the county. Why, you ask? My questions for you are, why is the safety of the average Garrett County students, teachers, and administrators in physically and mental danger in our school? Why are behavior-issued children allowed to stab children, students, and teachers with scissors, pencils, or whatever? Why are the distracting children allowed to cuss, throw things, and destroy others' clothing and objects? Why is it that Bradford Elementary has 4 broken windows in its school? Why is the average student can be called down to the office by the administrators without the parents being notified, without parents giving permission, or without the parent being present for a conference? Are there administrative documentations on all of these disturbing incidents? Like a list that one of these behavior-issued children made of the children he does not like or she does not like? Why is it that parents only hear about these incidents from their children, and even those kids that aren't in the classrooms? Why were none of these concerning issues shared with the parents, especially with the kids of the parents in the classroom? What happens when a non-problem child or children are forgotten and left in the classroom with the problem child continuing to throw their fit while the rest of them are being evacuated? Why does STARS program reinforce bad behavior? Obviously, it's not working. These issues need more than McDonald's. They need professional help. What does reinforcing bad behavior teach the normal student? Well, if I misbehave, I can do whatever I want. I can go to the STARS room, and then I don't have to do my work. Who is accountable for the mental anxiety as well as the educational and social time lost to the normal students when the time passes for the child to make up these disturbing issues and grow and fester? All right, I'll hurry. Time is trying to, I'll have to read faster. Yeah. But I want other people to hear it as well. Evacuating the students, getting them refocused on what they come back to. Bradford is failing at the No Child Left Behind of 2001. What happened to the Alternative Learning Program, or the ALP? Policies change every day, and I'm asking you as a mother, a grandmother, a college-certified teacher, a college-certified administrator, and a mayor to make drastic, radical, profound changes quickly to protect our students and teachers. I have more, but I'll send it. Thank you.
Hello. I know most of you received an email from me a couple weeks ago, kind of explaining some things that Ms. Schaefer just spoke about. Thank you to the ones that did reach out to me. Thank you for taking the time and kind of touching base. There are a few things that I would like to follow up on. Number one would be a fact. You guys have some amazing teachers. You have amazing principal. You guys have an amazing thing going on over there at Bradford. Sadly, it's going to come crashing down unless something is done. A lot of these teachers, what they are experiencing is not normal. It's not normal for what our kids to experience it. It's not normal that we have a 10-year-old coming home and telling their parents what's going on instead of the school reaching out and being like, hey, we understand there was an issue today. Understand we are doing our best to get it under control. Thank you and have a great day. Something as simple as that would be a big thing, would be comforting to a parent. A couple of my questions about these trailers, I understand we are that 5th grade, that 6th grade class that's going into these trailers. There's so many grandparents, there's so many of us here. Our kids are that class. There's a lot of questions. Will they be in the trailer all day? What time will they eat lunch? Will they eat lunch in the trailers? You're putting that trailer in a section of a playground that these kids utilize for playing on a day. Like, they'll go outside when it's 38 degrees. They play out there every day. Bathrooms. I'm not sure if you understand that. Unfortunately, the 5th grade class, there's a handful of them that are out of control. And unless we because we're here to help, obviously. We want to help the situation. And unless we know what's going on, and the more we know, I feel the more understanding we would be. But when it's coming home and I'm hearing from this parent, I'm hearing from this parent, I'm hearing from a 10-year-old, I'm hearing, like, you don't know what to believe. Music, art, where are these kids going to do all this? Are they going to be in a trailer all day long? I have full faith in Ms. Wise. I know that she is new to the area. I know that she's got to understand she inherited a burden. Unfortunately, Garrett, Broadford Elementary is a huge burden. It's a problem, and it has been for years. And we're here to hopefully tell you we want to help. We're here as a school, as a community. That's your biggest public school in Garrett County. You have to take care of the teachers. You have to take care of those people. Those teachers are with our kids more than what we are. They know our children. We have to listen to them. I could go on. Thank you, but there has been 4 broken windows at that school just this year. At that point, I believe we were in 9 weeks of school. We already had 4 broken windows. That's not again, we have great teachers. We have a great principal. They can only do so much without you guys backing them up. Knowing that you are there to support them is huge. And right now, honestly, they're terrified. No parent wants to be put on blast. Our emails were just sent right over to the principal. Instead of doing an investigation and backing us up, we got put on blast. So thank you again for taking time out and listening to me.
Okay.
You all are great. You have a great teachers. You have a great thing going, and I hope we can work as a community to get it back to what it was.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Tara Crawford.
Been a while, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna need more than 3.
Good to be back. No, I think I'm under 3. So having an understanding of maybe what's going on in some other schools and what's being discussed through public comment tonight, I wanted to share an experience that I had
actually had an accident in elementary last year that became a very positive outcome. But it did raise a lot of questions that I'd bring up today. So last year, my son's 4th grade class experienced something similar with disruptions, behavior issues, and leading to classroom evacuations. It was a very large class. And I was fortunate to be able to discuss with Principal Frotz and then Mrs. Ashby an opportunity to have a one-on-one meeting to get a really great understanding of what the situation is regarding policies and what parents can do. But I will echo some of the things that Brianne and Kathy brought up. I'm not sure how to work through this from a policy standpoint. It is incredibly frustrating and scary to hear these things that are going on in these classrooms from our students. Unfortunately, my student is not as communicative as I am. And so I learned a lot of what was going on in that classroom from other parents. And that was a real challenge for my husband and I to then have to talk to our son and say, hey, you know, what's going on, buddy? What happened in the class? So-and-so's mom said this thing or that thing. And what he said to me was, well, I didn't say anything about it because I thought that was school. That is not what GCPS is about. I know that. I'm a product of Garrett County Public Schools, and I had a beautiful educational experience, and I want that for all of our kids. Maybe I will need more than 3 minutes. Something that I didn't understand during that time, I know, I'm kidding. Something that I didn't understand during that time, and I still have some questions about, is the STARS intervention program. I realized that I'm not asking for specific disclosures or private information about other students, but it would be very helpful for parents and the community to understand how that program kicks into action. Obviously, these may be case-by-case situations, but I only found one paragraph on GCPS's website about STARS, and it would be, I think, helpful for in all grade levels and all schools for us to understand what leads to that type of intervention, even for, and maybe especially for, the parents of students who might not ever end up in that interaction, or in that intervention, excuse me. The open communication and the open dialogue that we have as parents, to schools, to teachers, to the administration, to the Board of Ed, and to the community, I know can make change. And so I'm just asking that we continue that communication, that we've got parents here who are shaking in their boots to come up and talk to you guys, and that it's a lot of bravery and sometimes frustration. And so please consider this as we continue to learn about these things.
Thanks, Tara. Appreciate it. Amanda Schaefer.
Hello, I also sent an email a couple weeks ago, and I'm just here to reiterate again, I appreciate all of you sincerely. Again, I am also a product of Garrett County Public Schools, and there's a reason why we're still here. So I want to keep my kids here. I want to keep going. My husband and I have brought up several concerns about the ongoing safety of students at Broadford Elementary over the last few years, not just this year. With the mass changes that are happening in our small community because of Maryland Blueprint funding, etc., we must continue to come up with better ways of handling children that have become problematic in the classroom. With Broadford set to extend their roster with an additional 100 or so kids next year with 6th grade, 5th grade seems to be the worst problem right now as we speak. So trying to get that under control before adding more children is something that's very important to me. We're tired of hearing about confidentiality. As we already know, the problems our children are bringing home with us, we don't want that from you. We don't need that information from you, and we just want to know that the kids are in a safe environment in the school. As Bree stated, we feel much more comfortable if this information of why our kids are being evacuated from the classroom was passed along by the administrators instead from our children. That brings up the next point that I have, that it's probably impossible for our teachers to be able to make those phone calls because of the continuous chaos that continues to erupt at school. They're inundated with resource calls one after the other. When we brought up this matter, we were very surprised at the amount of support we have received from the teachers all over the county, not just on the southern end. Word travels fast in Garrett County. What's even more concerning, though, than the daily disruptions at Broadford is the fact that it sounds like these teachers have been begging for help for years. The teachers that we trust and care with our children are scared, unhappy, and unheard. If we are truly trying to save the public schools of Garrett County, shouldn't we be making these teachers that hold us all together a little more safe? Thank you.
Thanks so much, Amanda. Becky Grell.
So, my topic is a little different, and I definitely don't intend to dilute what seems to be going on at Broadford for you guys. And Mr. Lotfeldy, I think what I have to say actually takes about 4 minutes. Is that okay?
Well, we'll give you a little after. Because you're the last speaker.
If you'll bear with me 1 second, I had it pulled up. Here we go.
Start your time now.
All right. My name is Dr. Rebecca Krall, and I'm here today as a concerned parent because of changes being made to the Garrett County Arts Fair that directly affect our children and their arts-related opportunities. Ms. Ashby just announced the dance program, which sounds very cool, and expands our fine arts opportunities. The Arts Fair is one of our main arts opportunities in Garrett County, which allows our children to showcase their talent in both visual and performing arts. Being a small county, we do not have multiple arts-related events like many schools do in other counties. For example, in Anne Arundel County, there are 13 different high school music-related exhibitions and festivals per year. We have 1. We also do not have arts magnet schools nor multiple types of performing arts ensembles at the middle and high school level, especially with no jazz ensembles nor orchestras. This is currently available even in Allegheny County. Nor do we have advanced music classes such as AP Music Theory, which are also commonly available downstate. What we do have are a few amazingly dedicated teachers across the county who work to provide band and choir education to our children. Previously, our honor band and choir students were allowed 3 days of rehearsal for each group with an additional day of combined dress rehearsal prior to the arts fair. Even with 4 days, when you include travel time and lunch, it only totaled about 14 hours of rehearsal time for each group. However, with this amount of rehearsal, our small county high school honor band last year was able to perform a level 4 piece out of 5 possible levels of musical difficulty. What is being changed this year is that the students and staff are being told they are not allowed to miss more than 4 days of school total. What that looks like is a maximum 2 days of rehearsal for honor band and 2 days of rehearsal for honor chorus with no dress rehearsal. While our teachers and students are talented, approaching a level 4 piece is not realistic. The complexity of music and number of pieces our honor band and choral students will be offered will have to be decreased, and the length of the performance would be shortened as well. For Southern Garrett High School last year, there were 18 honor chorus students and 21 honor band students, with 4 students who participated in both groups. These students are high-achieving students who obviously enjoy challenges. They all carry over a 3.0 GPA, with 75% of honor choir students and 65% of honor band students achieving greater than a 3.7 GPA, which is minimum GPA to be considered for National Honor Society. Obviously, missing 4 days and even as many as 7 days for a few of these students is not hurting their academics. Now, we may not have multiple arts-related festivals, but are blessed to have a beautiful new multi-million-dollar award-winning performing arts center for our festival. My understanding is that the school system committed a large sum of money to this building yearly and also has many days per year that it then has use of the building. Why would we not use those? I know these changes were made at the elementary level last year with the teachers continuing their rehearsals into 3 days, combining their rehearsals into 3 days only. However, there are 5 elementary level teachers who are able to split band and chorus direction of different songs. With only 2 high school level teachers, this would be much more difficult. If there's a question of cost of substitute teachers, let's do the math. We have talked multi-million dollars in this meeting tonight. Previously, 4 middle and high school teachers would miss 7 days per year for arts fair rehearsal for a total of 28 days requiring substitutes. With these changes, there would be a total of 16 days requiring substitutes. That's a difference of 12 days at an average reimbursement rate of $126 per day for a substitute. That's about $1,500. And in comparison to the numbers that have been throwing around tonight, that's nothing. Are our children's opportunities not worth that much? My question is, what is the purpose of these changes? We already have limited arts and especially musical arts opportunities for our students in Garrett County. We have students and teachers who are dedicated to challenging themselves and achieving high levels of success. Why are we willing to limit them and complicate their opportunities further than they are already limited? And why would we not use the resources we have to the best of their ability? I encourage you to revoke these changes to the rehearsal schedule and return to the Arts Fair rehearsal schedule as it has been in more recent years in order to give our talented students the best opportunities we can for success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vicki. I want to thank everyone that's commented. The board does take these comments seriously, and we really appreciate you being here tonight and talking to us. Thank you. Anybody else? Any other comments? Okay. Okay. You need to sign here. Thank you. Jordan Story.
Taking my teacher hat off, putting my parent hat on.
All right.
I wasn't going to speak, but my child goes to Broadford Elementary School, now in kindergarten. I will be putting a pre-K-er in next year, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I have resentments. I'm worried about it. I'll be honest. So, I know we have a wonderful school system. I'm a product of the Garrett County Public Schools. I've been teaching for 7 years at Southern Middle School. I have a wonderful administrator. All I ask as a parent is that you support your teachers when they come to you for help. And I hope that you can ensure the safety of the other students. My concern, after the grade band realignment starts or happens, Broadford will be the new hub for the STARS Center. That deeply concerns me. So I hope that there is a plan in place to keep our students safe, young ones to old ones, regardless of the behavior problems that are occurring. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else going once, going twice? Sold. Okay, we're going to move on with the agenda. Thank you all for coming out. We really appreciate it. Okay. One of our okay, let's move on. I want meetings to hear from our student board member, Haley Wilson. So what do you have for us tonight, Haley?
First, I have GCASU business. So our group met on October 11th for our first General Assembly of the year. We had 2 workshops, one on communication and one on service, as well as discussion groups and a food drive service project. We also had the absolute privilege of welcoming 2 different guest speakers, board member Mr. Van Sickle, who gave us an encouraging message on student leadership, and Superintendent Dr. McCartney to speak to students about different issues and successes they saw across the school system. Dr. McCartney also presented the board's plan and funding to work with us on vaping prevention, which our group is really excited about. We wanted to thank both of you for coming to address our group and everyone here for listening to me every month about what we do. Our group really appreciates it. Then we also additionally met yesterday with our executive board to plan our General Assembly for December. And we have a new project where we're going to be working with Ms. Moss and some of our school administrators on ways we can improve our school culture and school safety, because that's something that was brought to us as a concern. Additionally, we're participating in the Festival of Trees, and we voted to organize a Disney-themed tree, which we are currently accepting donations for across the county. As for general student updates, Southern Garrett Marching Band placed 5th at the Atlantic Coast Championship. Congratulations to them. Southern High's theater department also performed Puffs this past weekend, which I had the privilege of attending, and it was a great performance. Southern Middle had a Veterans Day Service Project Walkathon at the Friendsville Veterans Day Memorial and they raised over $3,000 for their Memorial Foundation. Southern Middle also held a they also held a Unity Day against bullying with staff and students wearing orange in support, which from what I was seeing in the pictures was a lot of students, which was great to see. Northern Middle held a Veterans Day breakfast, which included creative displays of pride for our veterans, such as multiple essays and music. They also held a Halloween dance for its students who could attend in costume. Additionally, many students across the county celebrated Red Ribbon Week with a good spirit activities across different days and a pledge to be drug-free. Both high schools' FFA chapters attended and competed at their national conventions, with several of their teams placing, particularly Paltry for both schools, placed bronze. Additionally, fall sports came to a close with playoffs recently. Good luck to all of our student athletes and those who are still competing. And my last point is Southern Garrett High School Student Council is preparing a Christmas light display on November 30th, and Northern High Student Council is currently doing a Bedford Candies fundraiser, so I encourage everyone to support both of those holiday initiatives.
Okay. Thought about from Jewel. Are you starting to work on that?
Yeah, at our last General Assembly, after Dr. McCartney had left, we had those discussion groups, and some of that came up. So we were talking about different ways we could use it. We're in the early stages of brainstorming. Those discussion groups were mainly focusing on where we saw the issue and how we think that money can support it, but we're definitely looking forward to doing more of it in the future.
Board member updates. Thank you.
Just have one. I had the pleasure of being the bingo caller at the GACO bingo fundraising event. Held it. This is my second year doing it, so had a lot of fun working with that group. It was great to see those students and how hard they work to raise money for their program. That we know that they are excellent as far as when our county and all the parents and teachers and staff that support that program were there as well, and really appreciate everything they do.
Cody, Josh. I did attend a legislative meeting yesterday, and as soon as we approve the legislative priorities for MABE and for the state, and I'll send that out as soon as it gets approved. But you can go to the website and take a look at it. I think it fits nicely with what you proposed the other day, Dr. McCartney. So I think we just need to work on it. What the legislative committee would like is there's a budget crunch, of course, in the state coming up in the next 8 or 9 years, and some of the work that we're going to have to do is reallocating some resources, which we've already started working on. But May would like to know any of our ideas on what in the blueprint, where would you like to see the money spent differently in the blueprint, if you had a chance. And so it's a big question, but if anybody has ideas, pass them along to me, and I will certainly relay them to. And I'm also going to talk to the chair of the legislative committee about our priorities in Garrett County. So we'll be working on that. Certainly the legislative session's coming up soon, and got to get busy. Okay. Superintendent updates.
Yes. Excuse my voice a little bit, but one of the things I want to remind everyone of is that we have made a significant update regarding our use of virtual learning days, and I just want to make sure that the public is well aware of that before we get to this next part. So what may happen this winter is that students may have their electronic devices sent home because we are projecting that there's going to be bad weather, but we will not make the call until the next morning. I don't want parents to think that when the computer or the digital device comes home, it means that we're definitely having a virtual day. That call will be made the next morning as we make all of our snow day calls. So I just want to be sure that that word gets out very clearly to our public. The last thing, or the next thing I want to highlight, of course, we all know Veterans Day just happened. We were in school, and many of our schools, every single one of our schools, did an amazing job working with our students in recognizing Veterans Day and the call to veterans. So we just have a short slideshow that I wanted to share tonight with everyone so that you can see what is happening in our different schools in this regard. We did have music with this earlier, but we can't do that because we're online. But you can see how each school noted the service of our veterans on a very individual basis. Some schools had veterans come in for special programs. Some schools wrote letters to veterans. But I just wanted to share with you tonight how actively everyone worked together to honor our veterans, and all in many different ways.
Wonderful.
So I want to, of course, we're all thankful to the veterans, but I also appreciate the work of the students and the staff at each of the schools to recognize this event.
Great work.
Thank you.
I know Accident's having a little program for veterans tomorrow, and
Yes.
I know that because I'm in the Accident band, and they asked us to play there 2 or 3 songs. We're out of practice, so if you come listen, please be kind. Do you have any other announcements?
No, I have nothing else tonight.
Okay. Nothing on November school activities. They're again probably on the website, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's time for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. We're 10 minutes late, but that's